Storm Pawson doesn't just coach fighters, he builds futures, one round at a time. As Fights on Fremont enters its fourth year, the ripple effect of Fighter's Chance Boxing Gym can be felt well beyond the ropes. What began as a homegrown vision in the heart of Rupert has grown into a cornerstone event for the region, uniting gyms across states and borders, but still rooted in discipline, grit, and community transformation. With this year's fight set to light up Fremont Plaza on Saturday, June 7th, we sat down once again with Storm to see how the event and the mission have evolved, what's fueling the next generation of fighters, and how one small town gym keeps turning gloves into growth and bruises into belief. Storm, what's happening, bro? How you doing, brother?
What's happening, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Good. It looks like you're just checking out. Last time I caught you, you were just getting out of the gym as well. Gym rat.
We had a late one today. Yeah, I'm here all the time. I'm here more than my house.
Hey, when you're passionate about something, you got to be a little crazy about it, they say, right?
Yeah,
to make something work.
Absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. Hey, bro, thanks for jumping on here again with us. As I was kind of alluding to just a second ago, we are entering the fourth year of Fights on Fremont. Can you believe it? It's been 4 years.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's gone really fast. I can't believe it. As soon as it gets over, the next year seems to happen in the blink of an eye. It's quick.
Yeah, I know. You got a little bit more gray hair since the last time.
yeah, it's stressful. We put a lot on ourselves to do this, but yeah, it's worth it. We love doing it, and it's getting bigger and better every year.
Yeah, well, I'm super looking forward to it. I mean, we're only a couple of weeks away from this, so I know how it is with events. Time crunch coming in. You're kind of wrapping up loose ends and making sure things are finalized for such an event like this, which has only grown throughout the years. But now that we got 3 years under your belt here with coordinating this event with you and your team, and maybe just some time to reflect on it as well. What's stuck with you over these years, as what's developed over the years with this event, and like how has it shaped how you're doing things this year?
Well, the most important thing that sticks with us is we build a lot of really good relationships through these shows. Gyms from across the country and Canada that want to come the next year. People in the audience that look forward to it. I've really developed a passion for the matchmaking process of it.
Okay.
And we do, I start a lot earlier than a lot of other shows. We start pretty much at the beginning of the year in February. I start getting lists. We had 31 lists sent in this year, which is the most we've had. It just grows every year. A couple hundred boxers total that were sent in.
Really?
And but yeah, so all that, just the process, we try to grow and add a little more every year. We have a board at our gym now that helps me out. Parents and my family, and we have binders, and it's a lot more. There's a lot more responsibility spread out now. Awesome. But yeah, the main thing is, and the reason that we do this, and my favorite part is the relationships we build. The futures that we build for our boxers, and the gyms and clubs that we get to meet.
Yeah. Well, you're really living this thing out about what it means to build a community. And so you bringing in parents and businesses and other stakeholders that can help you lighten the load. I mean, I think that's what it's about, right? It's part of building the community, is getting other people to help contribute.
Yeah. And they all look forward to it. Our boxers look forward to it. Parents do. And then all of our state boxers that I know really well, everyone gets excited for it.
Yeah.
And the volunteers have been awesome.
That's cool. So June 7th, 2.5 weeks roughly away is when this is going down, right?
Yeah.
As you mentioned, you have a fight card already in the works here. My guess is you're probably finalizing things up, tightening loose ends, as I mentioned. Any particular matchups that you're excited about, or you want to?
So I've got one of my boxers here that's boxing on it.
Oh yeah.
Come here. So this year, the first year Fights on Fremont, we had 3 Fighters Chance boxers. The second year we had 4 on. Last year we had 5 on our third year. This year we have 12 Fighters Chance boxers that are boxing on it. This is Uriah Barajas coming behind me right now.
So what's up, Uriah?
Yeah, so he's fought. This will be his third Fights on Fremont that he's boxed on. second, third, and now the fourth. He's rematching a boxer from our really close, our sister gym, Family Boxing, Giovanni Magana. That's going to be one of the last fights of the night. He was main event last year at our event, put on a show for the home crowd. He's undefeated at Fights on Fremont, so nice. we want to keep that streak going. It's a really competitive match. The last time these guys fought, he lost a split decision, and obviously he wants that back. So it's going to be a firework fight. Then we have one of our heavyweight kids is boxing the main event. But really, I mean, the important thing, the thing that I try to do is we match our matches very close and competitive. You're not going to see any real blowouts. You're not going to see these kids getting knocked out of the ring and very mismatched. And crowds love knockouts sometimes, but crowds also love wars. And I feel like not only does the crowd love wars, but I feel like it's those wars and those really high competitive like chess matches that make the little kids in the crowd want to box. So it's not the knockouts and not so that's something that we really put a lot of work into is as an official and a judge and referee, I kind of get to see the ins and outs of boxers from across our country. And so there's not a match on here that I'm really more excited for than the one before it. Every match is going to be very competitive, and we're blessed people enter like that.
That's awesome. You're right. I got a chance to watch you last year. I remember you. And, I have to imagine over the last 12 months, man, you've developed and evolved as a fighter as well. And I can tell you're a smart kid, you're a smart fighter. And I seen the way that you move, the way that you're thinking in the ring. And, you like to throw it down too, it looks like. So that's also pretty cool to see. Talk to me a little bit about what you're looking forward to. I mean, obviously getting in the ring, hometown, I can tell you're a crowd favorite, a lot of people that are backing you up, right? But what are you looking forward to this year?
I'm really looking forward to just putting on a show for my family. They come down from very far to watch me box, and I just gotta go out there and fight my hardest, with my heart. Stay humble, obviously, but especially since a hometown fight, there's a lot more pressure. Obviously, a lot of people go there, but that just makes it all the better because when I get that win, I get that rematch. It's beautiful, because my family, my friends see it, and they know that I have potential in the sport. They see.
Yeah. What have you learned the most out of boxing? I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, on the hot seat. But what's your what have you learned, man? Like what has boxing done for you as a human being, as a person?
Boxing, man. I mean, I came in here when I was littler. I would just a little summary. I just got bullied when I was little, and I was a little bit of a pushover, but boxing really just toughens you up and gives you that mental toughness to just keep going no matter what. There's been a lot of times in the gym where, I'm gonna be honest, I mean, I felt like, I have no potential and that I should leave and I should quit. But even in fights, it feels like that, when you're losing and it's, it's really close. Storm will tell me in the third round, he'll be like, you have to get this round, you have to win it. You cannot give up.
Yeah.
It really just strengthened me mentally, So yeah, it helped me a lot. Just in life in general, just never prevail and never quit. So
that's awesome. I remember now, Storm. This is who you're talking about.
Yeah, this is our story from that we talked about last year.
Okay, he didn't mention any names, and there's no names that were dropped, but I was wondering, and so that's awesome, man. That's cool that you can be able to share that boxing's taken you from, somebody that maybe didn't have to have the self-esteem and didn't have the proper image of themselves, and all of a sudden you were able to, be part of a program, or I don't even call it that. I'll call it part of a family, part of a community that really helps shape your identity and to know that you're worth more. And it sounds like that's what you're picking up from this. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's pretty accurate. Yeah.
Yeah. How would you describe your style of fighting?
I don't know. I guess I'm a switch hitter. I like to switch a lot. I mean, my first couple of fights, I didn't really know how to switch, so I would just, box outside, just kind of stay on the outside. But Storm one day just saw me throw my right, and he said, "Throw it again," and I threw it again. And he loves Manny Pacquiao, so he wanted to see me,
see him southpaw.
See me southpaw. So
now he's like Marvin Hagler.
Yeah, I switch a lot in my fights. I'm a switcher. I like throwing those shots offline. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So if there was one holistic reason why people should come out and check out Fights on Fremont, what would you say? what's a main reason they should come out and check it out?
What reason?
Or more, whatever's on your mind.
I'm thinking passion, I guess. The passion that these guys put into their art, you know, they put into it. You know, they're gonna display it in their fights. Some, you know, I mean, every boxer, no matter what, you know, they really love this sport, especially if they're going. You know, they have the courage to go up on that ring and
absolutely
box. They're gonna box their heart out. So
yeah, no, it's not for the faint of heart. That's absolutely true.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's cool. Now I'm stoked to see you guys get in there again and show what you do. I mean, there is a science to it, right? Sweet science that they call it. Yeah. So I'm excited to see you guys as well jumping in there. Let's be real. Money flows where attention goes. But everything you seem to be using just isn't working. Paid advertisement, influencer marketing, the list goes on. So what do you do about that? Well, we got the answer for you. Over at the Boise Beat, we get hundreds of thousands of organic traffic coming in monthly, and we want to showcase you. So we're going to be offering primetime slots for up to 10 businesses to get your product, your service, your story out in front of the right demographic today. Sign up below. Storm, what would you say? Is there anybody else that's like debuting a debut story that you want to share about a fighter that's going to be in the ring as well?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. So we have our 12 boxers. I don't know if any of them are debuts. We have, so both of our female boxers, the Alonzo sisters, are making their Fights on Fremont debut. They both had bouts the last couple of years, and they both compete at the national level. And but this is the first time that they'll be fighting at the hometown crowd. And Avea, the younger sister, the 10-year-old, she's a little monster, and she's going to be our first boxer of the night. She won't be the first fight of the night, but she'll probably be third or somewhere in there. She's the first fighter's chance one on. So, but yeah, we have obviously, 7 more boxers than we had last year on the card. So there's a lot of them. They're pretty green, but they've had a couple bouts under their belt. Especially these last couple of weeks, it's busy season for us.
Yeah.
Uriah and Leo were just coming back from Canada. They both picked up 2 really big international wins.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so I think that's a thing I'm really excited for too, is for the crowd to watch our girls, because they've been very supportive as far as getting us to the national tournaments and stuff that we've taken them to. And so I'm excited for our community to be able to kind of watch them for the first time, see what they support. Yeah.
Well, speaking of hitting the international circuit, right, and being able to get fights that are, outside of your main region, how would you say that's kind of raised the bar for you guys as well and your fighters?
It's given us, when I competed, we traveled to Washington and to kind of our surrounding states. But what I've noticed, making friends in Utah, I have some really close buddies over there. One of them I'm the secretary for Idaho. He's the secretary for Utah. And one of the things we noticed is, a lot of these states, they compete against the same people all the time. Competing against somebody from the gym, 20 minutes away. The road. And, and that happened to me a lot as a kid. I boxed a lot of the same. And it's been really cool to be able to kind of get our guys those different looks. Like when we took the girls to Louisiana for nationals, they got to box against styles that they haven't seen. And it helps them develop as a fighter, especially if they want to take it farther and start going to these national tournaments and going to compete in other states. You don't get as shell shocked when you are used to fighting new opposition all the time. And so making all of our friends from all these states and bringing them here to our show, we have, a lot of great teams that have kind of joined our family, and our boxers have learned a lot in that process. He boxed a kid that was kind of Soviet style. It was the first time he boxed somebody like that, kid from Ukraine. And, he adapted to it. It was new to him. And, but he made the right adjustments and picked up the win. So it just gives these guys, good experience and more tools for their arsenal.
Yeah. Uriah mentioned this just a minute ago too, when he was saying that, there can be some added pressure when you're in front of a hometown, right? And people that know you, et cetera. And with this being year 4 that's under your belt, added attention, various clubs that are wanting to knock on the door now and be a part of this event that's coming your way. How do you coach people through, Well, if it's even a thing, but I would imagine that the added attention kind of brings its own pressure with
Yeah.
it, which is some cool life lessons here. How do you
Yeah.
coach people through that?
It's, it's different. Some people perform better in front of the hometown crowd. I was one that I let that kind of fuel me. And, it always, like my brother, he does not like it, and he puts that pressure on himself because he's, twice the boxer I was. But, so it's going to be interesting because we've, typically been able to adjust to it pretty well, our boxers. We haven't really ran into any of our younger guys that have had that, that or seem to perform like they had extra pressure on them. But it's going to be interesting this year, where we have some of the newer ones. It is, it's just like anything in a fight, it's our job as coaches to see what they need to adjust and to get them through that next round. And, if they're nervous, that they're obviously going to take that into their fighting style. So it's just on us to, remind them it's just another day. They're in the one person, it doesn't matter who you're doing it in front of. And, we just kind of got to bring them back to reality and just make the style adjustments we need to, not make it. We don't want to make our advice about the crowd because that just brings more attention to it. We're there to do a job and just keep the eyes on the prize.
Yeah. You're right. I'll come back to you for a second on this one, bro. I want to ask you, because you got a very compelling story, and I think there's a lot of people that could relate to it, people that don't talk about it, people that maybe come up and they're battling with some things, whether it's school, whether it's home life, etc. What would you say if there's somebody listening to this right now and they're a young kid, they're a teenager, maybe they're a loner in school and they got no buddies, they got no friends, like they got bullied themselves or they got no self-esteem. Like, what would be your advice to somebody? And I know you largely are figuring some of this out through the vehicle of boxing, but it transcends into life in general, right? Like, what kind of encouragement would you give somebody that might be paying attention right now?
Who's alone, I guess, has no friends, as you said. That's, I mean, as I said, man, I learned it in boxing, but in general, just not to give up, A lot of, when I would get bullied, a lot of the main reason that I really went into boxing is because my mom wanted me to learn self-defense, because in that moment, I felt like little, I guess, and I gave up. I didn't try to fight back, or being a pushover in general, getting bullied like that, you immediately give up when somebody says something like that to you. But or just tell them not to give up, and good things will come their way. Truly,
Yeah, gotcha. I appreciate that. Thank you, bro. Storm, I want to ask you about the other side of it with all the hats that you're wearing. You're like you're the promoter. Yeah. You're the event organizer. You're the referee. You're doing PR, right? Like, you're doing all these different things. Yeah. You're also the matchmaker. Yeah. Talk to me about the matchmaking process. You kind of already just tapped into it a little bit here, but obviously you're not doing it holistically to please the crowd per se, but you are being cognizant that you have certain fighters or certain skills and you want to match them up adequately so that there is some entertainment value, right, for people. Yeah. And last year did not disappoint. I can attest to that myself firsthand, front row view. Talk to us about the matchmaking process and how you go about that.
Yeah. One thing that, I always remind myself when I start doing the matching is it's equally parts. Our show is equally parts for the crowd, equally parts for the boxer. It's not just another fight for them. We do want to make this something that the competitors look forward to every year, and they go back and they tell their teammates and they tell the kids that are starting. When we just went to Canada, the team that hosted us up there, they had a Fights on Fremont belt right when you walk into their gym, and the fighter that boxed in the main event that won that belt last year has in his biography, Fights on Fremont 2024 champion, and so it's something that these guys look for all the way to Canada, are looking forward to. And it's because they are boxing against the best match. They're earning that belt. They're not just coming and walking over. I'm not, getting them an easy match to get their belt. They really feel like they earned it.
Yeah.
So, I try to match everybody with someone that they don't feel like they just picked up another win and they got this belt and it was easy. They had to get through something very difficult and something that helped them grow in the process to get that belt, and that belt is a reminder every time they look at it that they I tell our guys when we're getting ready for fights, when we're in the corner, I say, everything we're working for is on the other side of this fight. We got to get through that, and you grow. Every time you get in there, whether you win or lose, and even the boxers that lost their fights want to come back next year. It's just something that I want the audience and the teams to look forward to equally, and that's the most important part of matchmaking.
Yeah, that's awesome. So some of that even kind of spills over into what the community can take with them as well, because there is this kind of a pride, right, that a community walks away with when they are part of something like this. I've seen it. I'm a people watcher, so I get to witness when I was watching people, just kind of seeing how excited people get to be a part of something like this in their hometown. And it's super unique, right? Where, again, for anybody that hasn't experienced this or known about it, it's downtown Rupert in the historic Wilson Theater complex, right? Or area. And, right now they have to even show up to get tickets, right? Like, you don't want to wait. You're going to have to actually show up there to be able to make it in there because it's standing room only.
Yeah. It's awesome. We are out of our state. We're the gym from the smallest community. We do the biggest show. And our community, the good thing, every show we go to, everyone's like, how do you get so much support? How do you guys, how do you make such a successful and profitable event? And we've been blessed. We're right in the heart of a small town, the smallest town in our association. But our community has backed us from day one because they support our mission and they feel the authenticity in it. And we have so much community support that they get a chance once a year to come watch what it is they're helping and what it is they're supporting. So, that's why, when we go on these trips, we're making sure that we're posting, we're giving everybody updates on our wins or our losses. And, when we go pick up 2 international wins and the community helped fund us to get there, they like seeing that what they are supporting is going to something. So they have this major opportunity, or especially this year, that's 12 of their local boxers competing. They have this big opportunity to come see the gym that they support, in action. And they get to see, how our kids perform, how they are outside of the ring, how they present themselves. And so that's the important thing. And we're blessed to have a great community for that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I see you as the people's champion, man. That's why you like Manny Pacquiao, because you got some similarities about it, man.
Yeah, on Ali, man. Those are people's champs.
Yeah. No, seriously, man. I seen something you shared the other day where it was like, the coach's job is to be the number one fan of their fighters or something to that effect, right?
It is, yeah. You don't want to be a cheerleader. You don't want to be, I've seen coaches at national tournaments that, even at the highest level, some of them that are just cheering on their boxer, they're not helping to make the adjustments. And I know in no chance, I don't want to be a cheerleader at all because, it's my job to correct their behavior in and out of the ring. But I'm their biggest fan, and they, as long as they show up and in that fight and in practice and they do their best, then I'm cheering, that I'm cheering,
Yeah.
So absolutely. I cheer for them, but I also, as the coach, make sure that they're doing the right thing everywhere in life,
Yeah.
But
so the disclaimer is that you're like not a fanboy, right?
Yeah. You want to be their biggest fan, but you want to help them grow into that athlete that you're a fan. You're a fan of their full potential.
Yeah.
You're not a fan of them slacking or them, missing practices or eating junk food. You're a fan of what they can be when they try their best. Every day you want to make sure that that's what they're chasing.
No, that's poignant. I think it reminds me of something I believe you said on the last combo we had, where it was something to the effect of like you're not trying necessarily to change people, you're trying to elevate them.
Yeah.
And I believe that's powerful, where you're trying to help somebody. Uriah is a great testament to that. I think, you're helping them to see the potential that's inside of them that they can't see yet.
Yeah. And sometimes it doesn't even take long. When Uriah came to the gym, he was this, defeated 12-year-old, 11-year-old, 2012? Yeah. 12-year-old. And, it didn't take long at all until he was coming up and he was shaking everybody, and shaking everybody's hand and giving them knuckles and holding his head up high. He had that spark in him. It just needed lit,
Yeah.
We brought him to that environment, and then he went and won his first match by stoppage, like it was in him. It was just our job to make sure he had an environment where he could let it out and not feel like he was, could just be walked over.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a good analogy that you mentioned that he had a spark in him that you just needed lit.
Yeah.
Because you're right. I don't know if you know this or not. You might already. Do you know the meaning of your name? No? I'll tell you what it is. And remember it. My son's name is Uriah too. That's how I know.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. It means my light is Yah, or my light is Yahweh. My light is God.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's powerful, man. It's powerful. So like you have that in you, right? We have that potential. Each of and every one of us has that potential inside of us that is destined for greatness. And it takes people around us, like a storm, right? People that are willing to jump in there and help us spark something great inside of us. And so that's what you guys are doing right now. I think it's phenomenal what you're doing for the community and for each other. So, man, keep it up, man. I'm super proud of you guys.
Thank you, brother.
I want to ask you, man, for the fact that, you guys are on cruise control right now and just pumping through this stuff. Yeah. June 7th, like I said, coming right around the corner. What's the long-term vision for Fighters Chance and for this event?
Well, Fighters Chance, the main thing behind the name and what we're trying to build with this gym, as I said when we got on, we had some friends from out of town that were coming here to train. Fighters Chance, we're, like I said, we're in a small town, but we're in a position where we're kind of neutral between Salt Lake and Boise, we have teammates we're a very open policy, where anyone that wants to come get work, wants to come get looks, any coaches, any boxers, they're welcome here. And we have boxers all the time from different gyms and different states, coming to do sparring or coming just to be in the environment. Mm-hmm. And as we're in the process of doing a pretty big remodel, remodeling the face of our gym, adding an upstairs, and
really
eventually, as we kind of start to update it and change the look a little bit, we want it to have a very distinct look with a very distinct feeling. And it's going to be, the goal of it is to be that hub for boxers everywhere, and in the future, there'll probably be a couple more Fighters Chance scattered throughout the country and the world,
Yeah.
That's long-term, it's our meaning, when my dad named Fighters Chance, he named it the perfect name. There's never been a consideration of changing it, we give everyone that chance, because in any fight in life, if you're a fighter, you got a chance.
That's awesome.
And like our slogan is, destiny was written for the underdogs. We just we believe in everybody, everyone that wants to show up and try to become their best self. That's what this place is the hub for. And that's what it's going to continue to be. It just a bigger aspect.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. See, if you're listening to this, how can you not get behind the mission, the cause? Yeah, super stoked, man. This is coming up quick. Any final plug you want to give people that have been a part of it, championing you behind it? Obviously, shout out Gary too.
Yeah,
right?
Shout out my dad. My dad. This is the house my dad built. My dad taught me very young the importance of giving back. With this toy run he does with Brother Speed Motorcycle Club, and you make a living off what you get. You make a life off of what you give. And that's dad instilled that in a very young age. He taught me to be a leader. Jason Samardzis and Family Boxing Twin has really helped shape me and the coach I've become, and they're family to us. We compete with them, we corner with them, we train with them. That's our family. And just there's a lot of support that we've had. Our LBC president Zach. We've got a lot of good friends, a lot of good supporters. From across the country. My brother Eric in Utah. We have a great crew. Our parents. The Alonso family. One of my assistant coaches, Jess Partita and Leo Partita, that boxes for me, just everybody,
Yeah.
It takes a village, we got all of my family, my brother, we got my niece was running around here today, smacking kids with a pool noodle to keep their hands up. And, it's been awesome, man. We've got a great, I think I'm biased, and I love all of our other teams that we know, but I really do think we have the best community as far as family goes, in the world, really.
Yeah. I think you've had some good examples, man, on how to build that. So it's trickling down into you. So props, man.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah. As another final plug, give me the lowdown. Give me the 411 on the event, start time, location, etc.
Yeah. So Fights on Fremont is Saturday, June 7th. Starts at 2:00. It's a little earlier this year because we have about 30 bouts. Like I said, you're going to see the best boxers from all over the country, from Canada, especially 12 of your local boxers. So we're 1/3 of the card, and it's gonna be very awesome. It starts at 2:00, like I said. Gate opens at 1 o'clock. First bell will ring at 2. We're on Fremont Plaza, which is right outside the historic Wilson Theater in downtown Rupert, right by the square, just down the street from our gym. Yeah, you don't want to miss it.
Yeah, that's what's up. Well, Storm, thank you so much for taking some time with me, brother. I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you, Gordie.
Yeah,
See you soon, man.
looking forward to seeing you there. And Jariah, good luck, champ.
Peace out,
Get
bro.
it.
Thank you.